Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. So today we're going to be looking at a question that I got from my stream. I think it was my last stream, and it's a cool question, and it's asking, what is the most popular build in Tom Clancy's The Division 2 right now? Before I even jump into the video, I appreciate those of you who've engaged in the conversation from my last videos and those who have been engaging in the streams. Thank you very much. It's really nice to engage with the community on that level. Now, I'll try to answer this question, but the answer is not that simple. It's The Division. Nothing is simple in this game, but I'll try to kind of showcase what's going on. Now, there are different content, pieces that you will require specific builds for, or builds like these are more, I would say, preferred. And then there's also the player style. Some players may not just like the more popular builds in many cases. Now, first of all, what I did was, and if you're my friend, I went snooping on your builds and I looked through the different builds that people were running. I'm not going to show you anybody's build in case anybody is, trying to keep their builds somewhat of a secret. But this is a lesson. Go swap out your build if you don't want anybody to see what you're running and whatever it is. And I figured that many players, from what I saw, are actually running a DPS build based on the following gear sets. Based on the Fox's Prayer, which is an Overlord armament named knee pads. This comes with weapon damage, 8% damage to target out of cover. If you can get yourself a max rolled one, this is basically one of the best damage based knee pads in the entire game. They're also running builds based on the Contractor's Gloves, which also gives you 8% damage to armor and can also give you weapon damage as well for one of its attributes. And then you can roll for the third, depending on how it shows up for you. Maybe, I don't know, something better, crit chance or crit damage. I have weapon handling on mine, which is fine. And these two pieces have basically kind of dominated the damage builds. Now, another thing too is this question actually seemed to have come from somebody who's looking towards jumping into Division 2. This is someone who's been a Division 1 veteran for years and is now wanting to get to the Division 2. And I know other people who are new to the game are probably wondering what kinds of builds they need to run. So if you're in this shoe or in this category, this is basically something that will kind of tune you into how we play this game, because I'm sure you've been looking at all your different items and you've had to read essays on understanding the talents and understanding the core attributes and the stats that this game has to offer. Now, once you have one of either these two, you can build around them however you want, and you can run them on different aspects of the build. Now, the other pieces that I've also noticed that players are using to make this damage paradigm is they're using pieces from the brand set Česká Vroba, and that's because one piece gives them an extra 10% critical hit chance. I don't see many people running anything more than one of the Česká pieces unless they're probably trying to achieve something, and that's usually what it is. Like if you see this piece that I have here, it's max rolled, it's perfect, it's got headshot damage, it's got crit damage max, it's got weapon damage max. If I was to make a damage build to showcase this, this is a piece that I will use as my holster, or maybe I could use another holster that has, that 10% crit, another piece, that has 10% crit chance, and I'll go from there. Then again, another thing a lot of players are doing is they're using, the Providence Gear Set. Now, the reason they're using the Providence Gear Set is not only because of, the fact that it gives all this stuff, is also the fact that in some cases, some players run glass cannon and he can run the perfect version of it. It sounds crazy to run glass cannon, but I run glass cannon even in my other builds. And to be very honest with you, it's actually pretty good, but I'll talk about that later. But if you look at Providence, one piece of Providence alone is going to give you 15% headshot damage. Two pieces will give you 10% critical hit chance, and then, the third piece is 15% critical hit damage. So a lot of players are rocking about 3 of these, and then the remaining 3 is a mixture of whatever it is they want to go for, if you get what I mean. If you look at my mask has crit chance, crit damage, weapon damage, and weapon handling. It's not a good mask, but it's what I got. And by the way, I slapped this build together. I've not optimize this because I don't run this version of build. I deleted mine and I kept all my pieces. And then a backpack will also serve you well. And the talents that you may want to run on your backpack are talents like, I think Vigilance is a good one. But this backpack I have has Composure. I think it's the best one that I have. Now, there is also another piece that can also change the game for you if you want to gain more critical hit damage. So many people may not run the Česká if they're able to get the critical hit chance. They may go for Grupo Sombra. And if you look up Grupo Sombra's one piece just grants you 15% critical hit damage. So in essence, this is a critical hit build that's based around high damage gear and high crit, stats as you can gather them using the pieces that I've shown you. And this is used basically for every single kind of content, and many players run them. Now, another aspect too is the aspect of your weapons. Now, these weapons are pretty much, going to be based on your choice, but I'm not going to sit down and just tell you that, oh yeah, people run any kind of weapon. People are running a very specific weapon, and this specific weapon is is Baker's Dozen. It's a named classic M1A that the whole world runs and used to run from back in the day. Now, it still hits really hard. If you look at the numbers that I have from just slapping those pieces together, I'm at almost 420, just a little short of the mark to hit almost 500k in regard to damage. But with critical hit chance, critical hit damage, that's really going to stack my damage really high. And then the reason people are using this Baker's Dozen is because of Perfect Lucky Shot. And this says a magazine capacity is increased by 30%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. I prefer to run with Vigilance because I'm in cover and I'm able to just sit in cover. I'm able to gain this extra 15% weapon damage using Composure. Sorry, did I say Vigilance? I mean Composure. And that's how I roll. Vigilance also has a different paradigm, but I don't have a piece with Vigilance because, like I said to you guys, I don't run this build paradigm. In fact, I used to make fun of it, and people used to be mad at me in the community because a lot of people love this build and used to make content, in quote, easy. Well, what's funny is now we actually have builds that make content much more easier where you don't even have to do a lot of work, and I'll show you that on the next part. But I don't remember what Vigilance does because I buried that in my psyche somewhere. And so that's what you're going to see with a build like that. You're going to see that high damage weapon, a high damage paradigm. Now, because of the way these also work, you can also run, an LMG with this paradigm because you're getting a whole bunch of damage. You can run all kinds of fun stuff around this build parameters. And so that's one aspect, and that's kind of its use. Another popular build paradigm, is using skills, and they come in all kinds of different flavors, but I'll just go and make things very easy for you by just showing you kind of the simple point of why we use these builds. Now, the skill builds are very, very interesting and very fun, and the one I have on this character is not the greatest. My second account, I have one of the best ones that I was able to kind of put together. Now, the idea is you're going to use 2 pieces of Hana U and stop there. That's all you need. You need one for the, just to get past the 10% skill haste is just what it is, but you need the second one for skill damage. Okay, so what you start seeing in this build trend is skill damage starts to get prioritized in all the pieces that I'm going to show you. Okay. The second aspect is using Wyvern. Wyvern's one piece will give you 10% skill damage, and with the attributes, you can also roll a max of also 10% skill damage. So you've already seen that if you have a Hana U piece, 2 of them, you get 10% skill damage, and then also in the attributes, you get another 10% skill damage for one piece, and then you get another 10% skill damage for a second piece. So now we've already stacked up to a total of, I think, 20 per piece in terms of the Wyvern, and then in terms of the Hana U, we're looking at a total of 30 for 2 pieces, if you get what I mean. And then you're going to move on to the next possible area of getting skill damage, and that is Murakami, but you have to work to get there. It's only going to be granted to you on the 3rd piece, where by 3 pieces, you're going to find yourself having a total of 10 for the 3rd bonus, 10 for each piece, and now that puts you at 40%. Add it all together, you're sitting at a total of 60% skill damage or something like that. And then with everything that you add as well, you also have your skill tiers, which if you look at your, your skills that you're going to use, with each skill tier comes more damage as you continue to progress. So let's look at the different skill tiers. Can I even look at the different skill tiers? Yeah, you can. When you mod your weapon, you start to see that your damage increases and the health of your skill increases, and then overcharge. Now, some people may not use the build paradigm that I'm showing you. They may use pieces that grant you overcharge when you're in the 6 skill tier requirement. And pieces that they use are pieces like Black Tusk gloves, BTSU gloves. It's a little hard to use. Some people have dismissed it, but every time I'm in a group with somebody that has BTSU gloves, I praise God, because all I'm doing is just maximum skill damage. I mean, it's crazy how my skills start to work when I'm in a group with people like that, because it's just so good. Or in some cases, they'll use the Acosta backpack, which is an exotic backpack. Let me show it to you. That also gives you the opportunity to gain to gain overcharge by, using a grenade. So these are two of the most popular builds that you're going to find in the game. And I'm not just saying they're builds, I'm talking build paradigms. People build them in different ways using different skills. And the skills that they use are the turret and the drone. And I'm talking about the assault turret and the assault drone. Now, weapons that actually, complement this are Future Perfection, which is a weapon talent that you can find on the named SX. What's the name of this weapon? I can't remember the name of the weapon. It's not the SX-12. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun with a new weapon that's coming out in a few weeks. And this talent gives you weapon damage, whenever you have, so let me just read it to you. It says, weapon kills grants 1 skill tier for 19 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grants you overcharge for 15 seconds. So you need to be able to get that stack and get the overcharge, and that will buff your skills for about 15 seconds. In some cases, if you don't want to deal with all that work, you just use InSync. InSync pretty much is going to be giving you skill damage as you're hitting, an enemy with your bullets. And it's going to be giving you weapon damage as you're hitting an enemy with your skills. That's pretty much how it works. And then some people use Combined Arms, which gives you like 25% skill damage for 3 seconds as you're shooting an enemy NPC. There's a perfect version of it called the Perfect Combined Arms, and you find it on the Force Multiplier backpack. So you can use this for one of your Hana U pieces and then go from there. Now, crazy as it sounds, I've actually started moving away from using Combined Arms to start using, what's the name of this? Tech Support. Tech Support is also a very low-key AFK build paradigm where once you take down an enemy NPC, it says skill kills increases your total skill damage by 25% for 20 seconds. So once you just kill an enemy with your skill, for the next 20 seconds or however long it is, your skill is just going to go crazy, nuking everybody else. It's really ridiculous. And I'm looking for the laziest build that I can use in order for me just to be able to just, watch Netflix while I play some content. I'm not watching Netflix. I'm just joking. But in order for me just to, do the least amount of work, because many of you in this community know I cannot shoot. It doesn't matter if I'm using a mouse and keyboard or a controller. My aim is absolutely off, and I don't know why. Maybe I just suck at it. But using all of these, you can tell that, you're going to be successful in the content that you do as long as you play smart and as long as you play wisely. Now, there are other minor build paradigms as well, and it would take me too long to start showing you all those in its own video. But those also do with a lot of the, the different aspects in terms of supporting the team, buffing the team. And I guess I'll just show them in a different video just to kind of, satisfy the curiosity of anybody who's new to all of this or who may be wanting to see what this is all about. So I hope I've confused you a lot more than you probably are if you're a new player, but it's okay. You get the memo over time, and you eventually kind of see exactly where we're coming from regarding, the way we play the game currently, because a lot of the content is very different and a lot of the players are also very different. So let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I hope this was helpful. I was just joking about confusing you. If you have any questions, ask. There are people in the community who will be happy to just respond if they see that you are absolutely, out of your league on this. And if I see your comment and I know the answer, I'll also do my best to explain as well. I'll get out of your hair right now. Thank you so much for your time and audience, and hopefully we'll see you in another video. Peace.